Hi guys, my name is Patrice. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be discussing my favorite cozy mystery couples. And now let's get started. So let me tell you a few things about this list. So this list contains my favorite cozy mystery couples, like I said, and usually one person in this couple is the amateur sleuth, and the other person is usually involved with law enforcement, like as a detective or a private investigator or something along those lines. Usually they work together as a team, or one person is reluctantly helping the other person. It's usually the amateur sleuth cannot keep their nose out of the professional's business, and they end up inserting themselves into the investigation. Now, I'm going to give you the setting of each of these cozy mysteries, the couple that's involved, how they meet, and what I like about each series. Now, my list is ordered kind of with how I enjoy each series. So, number one on the list will be my favorite, and then the ones at in the beginning will be not my least favorite, but there are others that I enjoy a little bit more. So that's how the list is going to go. So number 8 on my list is the Peter Decker and Rina Lazarus mysteries or series by Faye Kellerman. Now, I know what I just said, but I wanted to tell you about this one. Now, this series is not a cozy mystery, so that's why it is number 8. Now, I enjoy this series a lot, and it could be like number 2 or number 3 on the list, but because it is a mystery thriller series, that is why it is number 8. Now, the setting is in Los Angeles, California. The couple, we have Peter Decker. He is a police sergeant with LAPD, and he is divorced with a teenage daughter. And he discovered as an adult that his birth parents were Jewish. The wife in this team is Rina Lazarus, and she is an Orthodox Jew and a widow, and she has 2 sons, and she lives and teaches at a Jewish school, and that is called a yeshiva or yeshiva. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I may stick with yeshiva. All right. So they meet when Peter Decker is called to the scene of a horrific crime at the Jewish school where Rina teaches. And Rina has to steer Peter through the maze of religious laws and cultural differences that he encounters while he is working on this case. Now, I like these books because they keep you on the edge of your seat. There's a lot of action. Now, when I talk about SVU, if you have ever watched Law and Order SVU, this is like that times 10. Like Faye Kellerman pulls no punches. She describes everything in gory detail. So if you are looking for like something cute and fun, this is not it. But the mysteries are very engaging, and then we do get to see like development like in their personal lives as well. Um, so some of the characters do cycle in and out throughout the books. But again, this is top-notch series. But be warned, it is gory. Like, yeah, she does not hold back at all. Number 7 on my list is a Daisy Dalrymple mystery series by Carola Dunn. And there are 20 books in this series. And it is set in 1920s England after World War One. The couple in this series is Daisy Dalrymple, who is a part of the upper class, and she decides that she's actually going to earn her living instead of like marrying for money. Um, and stuff like that. So she earns her living as a writer and photographer for Town and Country magazine. And then her husband is Alec Fletcher, and he is a detective inspector for Scotland Yard. And they meet when Daisy is covering a story for Town and Country magazine. And the man she is supposed to interview for her story ends up dead. Someone murders him. So Daisy has evidence that he's murdered, and she joins forces with Alec to bring the murderer to justice. So they end up actually getting married in book 7 of the series, and Daisy uses her sleuthing skills to help Alec with his investigations. So I like these books and this couple because we get lots of history and historical facts included about the time after World War One, and how they recovered and how they had to adjust to life after the war. And I like that Daisy works and she earns her own money, which was rare in those days, and especially to have a husband that supports you in doing that. And I like that we get to see a blended family in this series of books, because Alec, he has a daughter from a previous relationship. Her name is Belinda, and she and Daisy get along very well. Number 6 on my list is the Lady Emily mystery series by Tasha Alexander. And there are 19 books in this series. It is set in Victorian London. And this couple includes Emily, who is a socialite, and she's moving throughout the most exclusive circles of London. She's the daughter of an earl, so the expectation is she is going to marry someone in her class and not embarrass her family. The husband, or soon to be husband, because when they first meet, of course, they're not married yet, but her husband, throughout the series will be Colin Hargraves, and he is a detective spy in the Secret Service of the Queen of England. And they meet, so I'm going to give you a lot of backstory on how they meet. So before Emily meets Colin and they get married, she accepts the proposal of Philip, and he is the Viscount of Ashton. And it was really to get her mother off of her back because, like I said, she is the daughter of an earl, and they wanted her to get married and not become a spinster. So her husband, the Philip, he ends up dying while he's out on a safari, like soon after they get married. And Emily, she's not really taking it too hard because she didn't really know him, like they had just gotten married. But she ends up reading his journals, and she discovers new details about Philip and about his life. And um, she learns that he was like really in love with her and stuff like that. But she also realizes that he was murdered while she was reading these journals. Now, Colin, he was actually Philip's best friend. So he ends up helping Emily to investigate what happened and figure out, who was the murderer, and they end up getting engaged in like the second or third book. And once they're married, they end up solving crimes together. So I like this series because there's lots of travel. Like Emily and Colin, they go to like a lot of places. Like I think Emily has like a house in Greece, so they go there a lot. They were in Egypt, they were in the Scottish Highlands. So you end up getting like a nice picture of like these exotic destinations and like some of the culture from these places. Let's see. There's also lots of historical facts about antiquities. During this time, that was like all the rage for people to go out and, try and dig up like artifacts and stuff from the past. So we get lots of information and facts about that. The mysteries are very well thought out. We get a lot of twists. The characters are, um, I like the characters, they're engaging. There were some people who complained about Emily. They said like she's very vain, and she can be like a little like, oh, look at me, I'm so great. But I didn't get that from her character. I guess, maybe that was like at the beginning when I picked up the series. It was a little ways into it. I actually have to go back and get um, the first couple of books just to see, like, maybe I missed that because, I didn't start it from the beginning. But I enjoy the series. I don't see Emily that way. One thing I will say, they do a lot of PDA, and that can get annoying at times. It's like you guys should be out solving this murder or solving this case, and you guys are finding ways to like sneak off and, be together. Like, get it together. Focus. All right. Number 5. The Countess of Harleigh Mysteries by Diane Freeman. Now, this contains 8 books and 1 novella in the series. This again is set in Victorian England. The couple in this series is Frances Wynne, and she is the American born Countess of Harleigh. And then we have George Hazelton, and he is a sometime spy slash private investigator. And they meet again. This is going to be some backstory because they were not married when they first met. But Frances is a dollar princess. So, a dollar princess is when an American woman who is rich with lots of money, she marries into the aristocracy of England. Usually, the family that she's marrying into, like, even though they have a title, they do not have any money. So they are looking for the son to marry this wealthy woman so she can bring an influx of cash into the family so that they don't lose their title and all the privileges that go with that. So there is a really good documentary on PBS about some of these dollar princesses. One was Consuelo Vanderbilt, and she had an awful marriage to the guy that she married in England. And then one of them was Winston Churchill's mother. Um, she ended up marrying Winston Churchill's father, in that she was a dollar princess. So if you have a chance, look up that documentary on PBS. If I can find it, I will link it down in the description. So Frances is the dollar princess to Reginald Wynne, the Earl of Harleigh, and Reggie dies. So after his death, Frances decides that she's going to make a new life in London, and she moves there with her daughter Rose. Shortly after she gets to London, the police get a note saying that Frances had something to do with Reggie's death. Now, mind you, Reggie died like 9 years ago, and it's like, why did you wait to accuse her of murder like 9 years later? Don't get that. Frances is innocent, but she doesn't want the police to learn about the scandalous circumstances surrounding Reggie's death. Her neighbor is George Hazelton, and he knows the full story of like how Reggie died and what he was up to. And so he helps Frances uncover the truth so she can clear her name. Now, I like this series because it's witty, it's very cute, it is very cozy. Like when you think of a cozy, this is what you would think of. And if you like the Royal Spyness series by Rhys Bowen, or if you like the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Raybourn, then this is something that you will like. The characters are very likable. I love the banter between Frances and George, and I like the secondary characters as well. And also the relationship that George and Rose has is very adorable. I think she calls him Georgie or my George or something. No, I think she calls him Georgie, and he is just like so tickled by that. So please pick up the series if you want something cute. Number 4 on the list, the Russell and Holmes mystery series by Laurie King. There are 19 books in this series, and then she also has short stories and anthologies as well. This setting again is Victorian England. The years are starting at 1915, and then we go to the late 1920s. So the couple in this series is Mary Russell. She is the daughter of a British Jewish mother and an American millionaire father. Her parents and brother died in a car crash when she is 14, so she is now an orphan. And then we have Sherlock Holmes, who is a world famous detective and genius, and also druggy. But I don't think in this story they really talk about like how he liked to use drugs. So maybe I'll take druggy off of there this for this review. Now, how they meet. This is a little controversial, but 15-year-old Mary Russell almost trips over Sherlock Holmes as he was studying bees. So he's down on the ground looking at bees, and she's walking reading a book, and she doesn't see him. So Mary's intellect impresses Holmes, and he begins to mentor and train her in skills of detection. After training with Holmes for a few years, Holmes allows Mary to work with him on his cases. So I like these stories because the mysteries have a lot of twists and intrigues, like you guess until the end. Like there's a number of, like they use a lot of disguises. There's lots of like languages and like decoding I guess secret messages and those kind of things. I also like that lots of characters from the original stories show up, but with a slight twist. So you will get to see Watson is here, Mrs. Hudson, Irene Adler is in the story, Mycroft, Holmes's brother is here, Damien, Holmes' son, the police chief Lestrange is here as well. And the books that I have read are very well written, but I have noticed that some people complain that the newer books in the series are not as good as the older ones. And I haven't read like all of the older ones yet, but I haven't really noticed a difference. Like I have started like right in the middle of the series and up until now, and I've read the last book. Now, the last book made me mad. The last book I did not like at all. I did not like where the story went. The last book is called The Lantern's Dance. Didn't like that at all. But the other books that I have read, like I said, I enjoyed them. So I don't know. They also complain that they feel like Mary Russell, her character, is something that they call a Mary Sue. So that means like the character is too perfect. Like she's very smart, she's charming, she can speak multiple languages, she knows how to like do first aid, like if she has like a broken bone or someone gets hurt, she can do that. People like her when they first meet her, so they think like she's kind of too perfect. But Mary's character, to me, like I see flaws. Like to me, she's a little arrogant. She and Holmes match like in that regard. So I don't think like she's very perfect. I do like that she is smart, like she's on Holmes' level. I like that about the story. Like I don't think he would be interested in someone who was not like smart. So I don't know, like it doesn't make any sense to me that he would be attracted to someone that wasn't on his level. So she has to be like all of those things to match wits with him. So I enjoy the series. My biggest gripe is just the age difference. Like I said, they meet when Mary is 15 and Holmes is at least 55 or 50 to 55 when they meet. So to me, that is a little bit gross. Like they try to make it, the author makes it where they don't get together until she's like 18, 17, or 18. But even still, to me, that's gross. But I can look past it to read the stories. Some of the characters are unlikable. It just seems like they are all like they can all look past doing the right thing if it will benefit them. So I don't like that particularly. Um, but if you like the A Daughter of Sherlock Holmes mystery series by Leonard Goldberg, then you may like the Russell and Holmes series. Number 3 on my list, the Amory Ames mystery series by Ashley Weaver. And there are 7 books and 1 short story in the series. This is set in England in the 1930s. The couple in this series is Amory Ames, a wealthy young woman who solves murder mysteries in high society settings. And then we have Milo Ames, her husband, a handsome, charming playboy who is part of the upper crust of London society. Now, how they meet. In this series, Milo and Amory are already married when we meet them. So in book 1, Amory is regretting that she even married Milo, and at this point in time, they have been married for 5 years, but she regrets marrying him because of his playboy ways. Now, in the first book, Amory's former fiance, Gil Trent, asks for her help, and when she meets him at a hotel, someone turns up dead. Gil is arrested for the murder and Amory investigates, but then Milo shows up and all of this drama breaks out. So I like this series because of all the drama. For the first about 3 books, there is so much drama between Milo and Amory. You do not know if this marriage is going to make it. Um, so that will keep you tuning in. It's just like, will they, won't they? Oh, is this going to work out? Oh my goodness. Now, the mysteries are interesting and they are resolved in a satisfying manner. Like sometimes, you do not like how the mysteries are resolved, but I will say all of these have been satisfying so far. If you are fans of Reese Bowen or Jacqueline Winspear, then you would like this series. Number 2 on my list is the Death on Demand Mysteries by Carolyn Hart. There are 26 books in this series, and this is set on Broward's Rock Island in South Carolina. The couple in this series is Annie Lawrence Darling, and she is the owner of Death on Demand Bookstore. And then we have Max Darling, and he comes from a wealthy family, and he is a private investigator. So they meet in New York, and it never really tells us how they meet. Like, maybe it does in the first book. So I have not read the first book in this series. I think I started in like the third book. I haven't been able to find the first one. But to what I'm picking up from the context, Annie was living in New York, and then she inherited this bookstore. But right before she left to come back to South Carolina and take over the bookstore from her uncle Ambrose, she met Max, and they were getting along, and like there was chemistry there. But then she had to leave and come take over this bookstore, so Max follows her back to South Carolina, and that is how they meet. Now, in the first book, Annie inherits her bookstore, like I said, from her uncle, and she usually holds a meeting at the store for local authors. But one of the authors wants to reveal hidden secrets about the group at the meeting. And of course, someone murders him because nobody wants their secrets put out on blast, okay? But Annie is accused of the crime. So Max decides to stay in South Carolina and help Annie find the real murderer. So I love this series. This is one of my favorites to get. Now, she has not put out a new book in this series in a while, but I really, really enjoy it. The only thing that I don't like so much, again, is the PDA. So they do a lot of, oh, smoochy, smoochy, Max can't wait to get with Annie, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a lot of smoochy, smoochy. I like this series also because the author, she packs a lot of references and trivia to other mystery series in her book. So Annie always has like a contest for her patrons to guess and win. I think they win like 5 books that they could pick out. But the contest, she has like a series of watercolors up in her bookstore, and they are paintings that are taken from like popular mystery series or like famous mystery series. And if you guess the author in the book, then you win the contest and you get to pick out the books that you want. So yes, lots of trivia in this series. The characters are very charming. Love the secondary characters. Like, you fall in love with the town. You feel like you know these people. Really, really enjoy it. Top notch. If you like Joan Hess, the Claire Malloy series, then you will like this. Number 1 on my list is the Charlotte and Thomas Pitt mystery series by Anne Perry, and there are 32 books in this series. The setting is Victorian England, and we start in the year 1881. The couple in this series is Charlotte Pitt. She is the middle daughter of a wealthy family, and she is very forthright. She states what's on her mind. She has a very keen sense of fairness and right and wrong, and she always tries to help people that she knows needs help, or that she knows is in trouble. And we also have Thomas Pitt, and he is an inspector on the police force. He rises through the ranks and ends up in Special Branch, which is sort of like Homeland Security. And finally, he becomes a knight, and he is knighted by Queen Victoria. And they meet when Thomas Pitt investigates the murder of a maid at Charlotte's home. Charlotte helps Thomas navigate the rules of upper class society to find the murderer. As they work together, their relationship shifts from sparring to romantic. Now, Charlotte, this is sort of like unheard of. So when they end up getting married, Charlotte is then removed from society because you can't, like bring a policeman to like these upper class homes, because they look at um, like policemen and people who work as inferior. So when she marries Thomas, she has to give up, you know, being in society and living like this privileged life. And she doesn't end up back into society until he rises up, like I said, through the ranks. And then he ends up working for a Special Branch. So, then they start getting respect and prestige. Now, these mysteries are really, really good. So there's lots of intrigue, there's espionage. Like when you're talking about high stakes, this is very high stakes. Like you can feel the tension like through the pages. The characters are very lovable. Like, of course, like they have their flaws. Like sometimes you're just like, why did you do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But you can suspend belief and um, really enjoy the story and get into it. I was very sad. So, Anne Perry, she did die, I believe, last year or a couple of years ago. And she also wrote the Monk series. So, that TV show Monk, she wrote the books. So, she wrote that series and this one. And interesting backstory on this author. She went to jail for 5 years for her part in the murder of her best friend's mother. So it looked like the best friend was going to move away, and the two girls didn't want to be separated. So the best friend wanted to actually live with Anne Perry and her family, and the girls felt like her best friend's mom was going to say no, that she couldn't do that. So they decided they were going to kill her, and they did. So Anne Perry went to jail. Like, that's not even her real name. I think her real name is like Juliet. I forgot her real name. I know her first name was like Juliet, either Julie. No, it was Juliet. Juliet something. So, yeah, when she got out, she turned her life around and came up with this amazing, cozy mystery series. So, maybe that's why it's so good, because she she knows what she's got firsthand experience and knows what she's talking about. But that is my number one husband and wife team. If you have not picked up the Charlotte and Thomas Pitt series, please do so. I wish that more were coming out. She did start a new series after she finished this one, and it was actually with their son, Daniel Pitt. And that's another good series. Like, it was just about to take off. She only got in, I believe, like 3 or 4 books before she passed away, but that was about to take off as well. Daniel had just gotten married himself, and sometimes his mom and dad showed up in the stories, and he also has a sister. She showed up in the stories as well. Yeah, like I said, it was about to take off, but unfortunately, Anne Perry passed away. So we won't get any more entries into either series, but I would highly recommend that you read this. If you like cozy mysteries, you will definitely like this series. We've made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have read any of the series, let me know in the comments. If any of them sound interesting, let me know as well. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.